Welcome in to another edition of the PHNX D-Backs podcast, right here presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app and use code PHNX365 when you sign up. Choose your offer and find out why it is never ordinary at Bet365. And of course, it is never ordinary on the PHNX D-Backs show. We had ourselves a blast out there. And of course, this is my co-host, occasionally known as Thunderstick, Jesse Friedman.
If he was a bloated corpse in the pool at Chase Field.
My name is Derek Montiel. Of course, I'm your mayor. This is the czar of content around here, the one and only Espo himself.
Future mayor of PHNX.
Well, lifeguard of the Chase Field pool. That's the most important job that he has around here. And you almost needed to save this game. You almost needed to rush in with your floaties and make sure the Diamondbacks won this game.
I mean, I was going to run in and say Paul Sewald.
Oh, God. I don't know if you were going to save him as much as you might just drag him into the pool area away from the mound. But first, what a turnout for our PHNX Takeover. Yes. I want to thank everybody that came out. It was so much fun. I have not had that much fun in a baseball game in 15 years. And I know a lot of it had to do with the very concept of me not having any shoes on while basically at Chase Field and being in the water. But it was also just a blast to hang out with, a group of people like we have. This community we built is a lot of fun. And I can't say enough about how unbelievable yesterday felt at times.
You were just looking for another excuse to be shirtless.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, I'm always searching. I'm always searching for that. And I mean, today, well, I guess, we'll get to it, but, of course, the biggest thing to come out of yesterday is that Jesse Friedman, of all people, jumped into the pool and did what he alleges is a cannonball. We have evidence of that. Here's the tape.
Jesse got wet?
Jesse got wet. Jesse actually got wet. Here we go.
Come on, Derek.
All right, Jesse. Now it's a party. Look at that great time. Espo, was that an actual cannonball?
No, but I will give him a pass because that pool is like 3 feet deep.
It is 3 feet deep.
So
and very warm. Very warm.
He probably could have broken both ankles.
Suspiciously.
Yes.
You say that, but not all of us take so much care. Damon, do you have the other video? Oh, of course. Well, we'll show you a real cannonball here, but
I needed a little bit more.
No, I apologize about that, but it was amazing to see Jesse jump in the pool.
It was, and I think my favorite part of the whole day was cheering for Jesse when he came to the pool,
yes.
and then also again when he came out in the swimsuit to do
right.
the cannonball. You had people in Chase Field looking at us in the pool going, what the hell is going on? We don't have a Jesse.
We had some great chants going on. Yes, Jesse got cheered when he arrived. He also got cheered when he left, which he took exception to and made sure to point out to everybody that that's not very nice to cheer on someone as they're leaving. But then he got bigger applause when he came back and joined us in a swimsuit. But, it was just so much fun. It really was. That pool area is something that everybody should experience at least one time.
It was on my bucket list, and it was really cool to be able to do it with the whole group. Being able to experience it, with a bunch of our diehards and other people was special. Like, that was a really cool way to get it across that off my bucket list. Like, that was a major thing that I've always wanted to do since that ballpark opened, and to get to do it with that group was great turnout. So,
well, we have video of a real cannonball, by the way, and this is how you do it. Show them, Damon. That's the second time I've appeared shirtless on this podcast.
Hold on. What makes you think that was a better cannonball?
It was a much better cannonball.
What is that? Just because of the water?
The tuck.
Yeah.
Jesse, he didn't keep He
Derek,
didn't keep it.
You're a wrestling guy. You have a respect for the showmanship, the process. Yours had nothing close to Jesse's, and you know it.
Look, excuse me.
When you cannonballed, everyone was like, "Oh, that's cool, Derek doing a cannonball." They
started chanting the mayor after I came up out of the water, which you didn't continue to video.
There were 3 different Jesse chants. 3 different ones.
That's not. Well, hold on. Again, this is the second time I've appeared shirtless on this show. So me being in a bathing suit is a rarity. I was just in a lazy river less than 2 weeks ago. Damon?
This was the story arc of Jesse getting wet from all of last postseason to now.
Right.
You don't have that storyline.
I know I don't.
And you can't.
How that has zero to do with my cannonball. It has zero to do with my cannonball. Oh, I do not. I don't respect the pageantry. The man didn't lock his arms. He didn't tuck his knees.
You said water displacement was a big part of this, but let's be very clear. Of course you were going to displace more water than Jesse. And I don't say
that's a fat joke. We're doing fat jokes
now.
I
can't make a fat joke. Man. I'm just speaking from experience.
That's low. That's low.
Science says you and I...
expect that out of Damon. I don't expect that out of you.
Science says you and I are going to displace more water than Jesse Freeman. All right? So you can't count that against him.
Fine. But anyway... well, we do have somebody we should be talking about their ability to do anything when it comes to performing at Chase Field, and that's Paul Sewald. This was a weird series, by the way. The Diamondbacks get the sweep, but they couldn't have achieved it in more different fashion from one game to the next. You have game 1 that looked like a blowout where the Diamondbacks have a 5-run 9th inning comeback victory in game 1 that they walk it off. You have the 17-0 rout in game 2 with a franchise or tying a franchise record for 22 hits. And then, of course, what became the 5-4 nail biter here yesterday.
That never should have been.
It should have never been. It was a 5-2 game, and Paul Sewald, unfortunately, really just has seemed to run out of gas.
It was the embrace the chaos series, because there was you couldn't have had 3 more different games.
Yeah, exactly.
You got the gamut of emotions.
All the way the Diamondbacks win. Like, it's all the different wins this year. You know, they've had some comeback victories. Of course, nothing as dramatic as game 1. They've had some blowouts, but arguably that was one of the biggest of the year, the biggest shutout victory of the year. And then, of course, yesterday, which, at least they go and they get the win and all is well. But you have covered a lot of different sports besides just basketball. And I know that this happens in every sport, but is there anything as dramatic as how quickly in baseball a baseball player can go from being good, being productive, to suddenly not even being able to play the game?
I think baseball is such a mental sport, and it comes down to, like, I know it's a team sport, but when it's basically one-on-one, when it's pitcher batter, right?
Especially there in the 9th inning, right? It's all the focus is on you.
And Sewald in particular, when you look at that, it just screams mental. It screams a guy who's lost his confidence. It's a little afraid to, at times it felt like he was afraid to throw it in the strike zone for fear something was going to happen that was bad. And I don't know if you've just got to sit him for a little while and let him get his mind right, put him in some low leverage situations to just get out there and let him believe he could actually throw those pitches again and actually perform at that level, because he's pitching scared, it feels like
that's
right
exactly
now.
what it is.
And that's the exactly last thing. That's the last thing you want your closer to be doing, or any athlete in any sport in the clutch, is play scared, because that's when mistakes happen. That's when, you just don't get the job done.
Well, and it seems to happen to whoever at times the Diamondbacks put in their late in games, right? And I mean, some guys have shown that ability more than others. It's the reason why he's kind of relied so heavily on the Ginkel, Thompson, Sewald 3-man setup, right? But what we saw yesterday was Ryan Thompson go out there in probably one of the worst situations you could be in as a reliever, right? Like, inherited runs, game on the line, closer broke down, and they're trying to get you to go out there and literally save this game before it falls apart. And honestly, Thompson hasn't really been good in situations where he's inherited runners, and he showed that, like what you're talking about, that ability to go out there, put all that other stuff aside and just be a stone cold killer in that moment. And he got the job done. But and I think that's why so many people have been clamoring for them to move on from Paul Sewald. Like, it's not to say Paul Sewald can't still be an effective reliever, even a closer, but it seems like right now it's just like he's like broken, you know?
Yeah. If I'm Torrey, I go to him and go, I believe we can get back there, but I need you to understand I'm going to make a change for the short term while you work on some things and you get that confidence back. And I'm going to try some different combinations and see what we can do. Yeah. But right now, we have such a thin margin for error that we can't even afford to lose one of these saves. So I need you to go, and whether it's the 6th or the 7th, you know, if we need a guy in either of those situations, go out there, pitch a few times, get the confidence back, and when you feel good, we'll put you back in that situation. Not that we're done, it's over, because you could destroy him mentally completely, where he's useless for you the rest of the year in any situation. I'd approach it like that and go that way.
Well, Torrey still has time now to have someone else potentially fill that role and give that opportunity, you know, or at least see how someone does with that opportunity, see if they have another body that can fill that role. Based on his body language and such, when he went and took Sewald out of the game, it looked very much like Torrey was fed up. Like that's,
which is, I mean,
and you don't get that. Well, you just don't get that often from Torrey. He's very good at protecting that feeling and projecting a feeling, like, again, like you said, of confidence in his relievers, even when he's removing them from the game. You know, it looked like this was potentially it for Paul Sewald, and I think that there's been some tweets out there about that in regards to it. But I agree. Like, there needs to be some sort of still, you have to still try to use him in the bullpen. He's still a valuable reliever for you, and he's still a guy that has proven this season that he can get the job done in those high leverage situations. It's just something fell apart here over the month of July. Like, everybody else had a great month. It's like Paul Sewald's, you know, ability to be big in those moments went away so Gino can smash home runs again or something. But it feels like, you know, everybody else kind of went in the opposite direction this month. Diamondbacks had a tremendous month of July.
It's crazy to me how baseball, and it happens in other sports. I mean, hell, even Simone Biles in the Olympics in 2020, things come up. You know, she had the spinnies. You get the yips in baseball. I'm blanking on the second baseman from the Yankees in the late 90s, who Chuck Knobloch, who just was one of the best defensive guys, and then all of a sudden couldn't throw at first. Had something happen in his life. I believe his father died, who taught him baseball, and all of a sudden he's chucking it into the stands, right? Little things can play such a big part in this that it can throw a guy off. You hope that he hasn't just completely fallen off a cliff, and that it's a bad month and not where you can't trust him in any situation.
Well, the Diamondbacks did enough yesterday to take care of business. Let's take a look at the count for this series presented by Desert Financial Credit Union. The Diamondbacks put a whooping on the Nationals. Like the account said, 3 curly QWs in a row. Diamondbacks score the Nationals 31-12. They out hit the Nationals 48-29. Obviously, most of this came in that second game because the other games were only decided by 1 run. Runners in scoring position, Washington was 9 for 24 for a 375 batting average. Diamondbacks 395 batting average, 15 for 38. Both teams very good with runners in scoring position. In this series, the Diamondbacks just had more, obviously. Starting ERA, 3.71 for the Diamondbacks to the abysmal 10.13 for the Nationals, and then 4.50 relief pitching ERA to another abysmal ERA at 12.27. Diamondbacks wrecked the Nationals ERA in this series, especially just in that second game for sure. But of course, there's a lot of credit that could go around, but I don't care. They were chanting Derek's bestie in the pool area for this man. So Ryan Thompson is our king snake, because this man came into the game when we thought all hope was lost, when we thought this was a blown save. He got 1 save for the game, and then he got another save for saving our pool party and making sure that all of us went home happy with the Diamondbacks' second sweep of the season, which is weird.
I'm actually giving the king snake to Paul Sewald.
Why is that? Why would you do that? In what universe?
Because that game was on pace to be super short, thanks to Zac Greinke, and we weren't going to get our money's worth at the pool.
He did. He gave us an extra 20 minutes.
I mean, we got extra time thanks to Paul Sewald.
That's a great point. That's an excellent point. That's why I have you here, to make great points like that. But, of course, we thank you guys for being here in the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. If you have not subscribed to the channel yet, do so now. Sign up for notifications. That way you don't miss whenever our shows go live. We always got that breaking news thing happening around here. So do not miss whenever we have our emergency podcasts. Of course, if you're listening on the audio podcast side, we thank you guys for listening as well. Make sure you subscribe on your favorite audio podcasting app and leave us a review. We appreciate that feedback.
Met a lot of audio people yesterday.
We did. I don't know why that's so surprising to me. Maybe because I have to look at my stupid face all the time on this TV, right? And I understand people not wanting to do that, right? But still, it's still surprising when we meet people that say they only listen on audio.
We appreciate them.
I'm the data guy when it comes to our shows, right?
You're the data guy?
Yeah, you come to me all the time. What are our numbers? How we looking?
Oh, yeah, that's different data. Yeah, that's data.
So I looked at it, and they were all video people until that episode you were shirtless with Jesse Jr., and then they went audio.
Again,
so.
I expect better out of you.
Damon's my favorite part of the show. So and Jesse. Yeah, so yeah.
Monster.
Jesse's really good. Jesse's really good too.
I can quit. I can leave. I have other skills. I don't have to just do these podcasts, but this is where I need an Indeed read, but I don't have one. But what I do have, Bet365. And of course, Bet365, we thank them so much for sponsoring the show. We also thank them for their early payout offers across all sports, including NBA, NFL, NHL, and Major League Baseball, where if your team goes up by 5 runs ahead, you get an instant payout, and that counts for parlay and same-game parlay selections, which will also be marked as winners.
And so game 2, you got paid out in first inning?
In the second inning, you got your money. Go spend it as you wish at that point because you were already good. And, of course, Bet365 loves the live in-game betting. They were a pioneer in live in-game betting, and they offer the widest range of games and markets across 78 sports for live in-game betting. Right now, if you're a new customer, you can sign up using our code of PHNX365, deposit $10 and choose between one of 2 offers. You can get a bet and get offer where you place a $5 bet or more and get $150 in bonus bets instantly, or you can use their first bet safety net offer where you can place a bet up to $1,000, and if your qualifying bet loses, you receive a matched refund in bonus bets. Download the Bet365 app and use code PHNX365 when you sign up. Choose your offer and find out why it is never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or over and physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, text NEXT STEP to 53342, or visit problemgambling.az.gov.
We call that safety net bet the flex on our show.
The flex?
Yeah, because Flex is the only guy that I know that could bet $1,000 blinking.
Yeah. And then
he's got them stacks on stacks.
And then get it back in bonus bets if he loses it, right? Exactly. Because he's just going to bet more anyway. But that's I respect that. I also respect the fact that PHNX is now Sanderson Ford country. I don't know if you've known this.
Sanderson Ford country.
Lay it down. We need to record that. Let's get that. We're just going to play that every time we do this. But I need a new car really bad, so we might be taking a trip to Sanderson Ford here. We are very proud to have Sanderson Ford as our official vehicle sponsor. Of course, you can check out their 65-acre facility. Is that right? That sounds like entirely too much space. It is the largest Ford dealership in the nation. So I imagine that they have every single automobile you're looking for.
There's a reason. Those Mustangs and Broncos need to roam.
Oh, they do need to roam. Yeah, you got to take them out for little drives, make sure they're properly, make sure they're taken care of. Let me tell you, I need myself one of those Broncos for sure. Me and this guy, Damon, we're talking about, if you're talking about dream cars, especially in some of those color combinations that Big Ben Bronco comes in, woof. Love that 24
Sexy.
Ford Bronco Sport Big Ben.
How fitting is it that our first Sanderson Ford deep drive of the game was on Gino's 3 home run night.
Gino's 3 home run night. Yeah, I mean,
no one else has done that all season.
3 drives to the outfield, right? We took a lot of trips out there, but there was one that was deeper than the rest. But Sanderson Ford is family owned and operated through 3 generations, so they are part of the Valley just like we are. They're also America's most awarded Ford dealership for customer satisfaction, so they will take care of you. Save 0%, they have 0% financing for 36 months with no payments for 90 days on the Ford F-150, Escape, Edge, Explorer, and Expedition, which great offer right there.
You used to work in banking. 0% APR is good,
0% is very good.
Okay.
It's very good to get that. And of course, it's very nice to not only have that, but the no payments for 90 days obviously give you some time to put aside some money, make those payments, and make sure you get your car paid off. in a short amount of time, which is always lovely. But the Sanderson Ford Summer Sales event is here right now, and they're teaming up with the Boys of Summer for a final playoff payoff sale. Purchase or lease any new Ford, get 4 tickets to see your family see the Arizona Diamondbacks, which is our family, push for the playoffs. Again, get 0% for 36 months OAC from Ford Credit. See dealer for details. You want to hit that Sanderson Ford Country one?
Sanderson Ford Country.
It's beautiful. That's beautiful.
That's
all right,
harmonic.
Well, it's time for me to mess with the power rankings. And since Jesse's not here and he's watching, and I know he's watching, this is going to send him through the roof. But since I got my hands on the
here we go.
Since I got my hands on the controls,
this will be interesting.
I did the thing that Jesse probably wouldn't have allowed me to do. Damon, let's throw those.
I didn't even do them. So Jacob helped me out with them. So I haven't seen them yet.
You haven't seen them?
I know what you did.
You know what I did, didn't you? Throw them up there. Throw them up there. Hell yeah, the D-backs are on there. The D-backs make their first appearance on our power rankings. And it's not just because I'm an insane person. I will give you valid reasons for them to be there. But the Orioles take the top spot here. And I think they, again, have an incredible season. They did a great job at the trade deadline adding to that team. I still don't know where Eloy Jimenez is going to play, but it feels like the Orioles are just stacked as far as, their offensive weapons, their youth, everything about that team looks like it's in very, very good shape to contend.
I am very disappointed that when this graphic went up, 1 through 10 wasn't the Arizona Diamondbacks.
I know, yeah. I probably should have just done that. Yeah, I probably should have shot for that.
Although it's tough to deny what the Orioles are doing for sure.
I didn't want a phone call from Jesse, right? Like, that I didn't want that for sure. But the Phillies have not been playing very good baseball right now. And this isn't just a knock at them because they're coming to town soon, and I just really want to take them down a peg. This is because the Phillies have the second worst record post All-Star break at 3-9, only second to the White Sox, who are 0-13.
Wouldn't you hate what you're doing if you lived in that city?
Oh,
I mean, the only thing I can say good is cheesesteak.
The cheesesteaks are amazing. Right? I mean, you can only run up and down the Rocky Steps so many times, especially when you live there. But
the statue's not even there anymore.
I know.
Right? And their big thing is a bell that's cracked. Congratulations, guys. You can't even ring it.
It's at ESPO on Twitter, folks, for those of you that are Phillies fans that want to find this man. Of course, going back to the power rankings, Yankees move up 1 spot to 3rd. Dodgers drop. Of course, the biggest, because once again, I was in control of the power rankings this week, but also because the Dodgers suck and they've been losing to the Padres. They got swept by the Padres for the first time. And
not even sure they belong on this list here.
Yeah, no, I mean, I could have removed them completely.
I'm thinking more like 12, 13 range.
I mean, a lot of these teams, honestly, over the last 10 games are 5-5, 6-4. You got the Dodgers at 5-5. You got the Guardians at 6-4 in their last 10. Then you got the Brewers there at 6, Twins at 7. These teams are all interchangeable. They're all very close. A lot of them are in the same division. That AL Central is just, for some reason, a battle between teams with very good records, and the Guardians and the Twins and the Royals there.
This is primarily the NL West and that division.
Yeah, that's pretty
right?
much what it is. Yeah. Padres, of course, they are 9-1 in their last 10 games. They swept the Yankees, and got to give them respect because, not the Yankees, the Dodgers, which, those two teams might as well be the same as far as I'm concerned. But the Padres sweep the Dodgers. And I mean, honestly, we talk all season about the wild card, right? Because we just expect the Dodgers to run away with it. But they are not. And they made some savvy moves, especially right at the trade deadline, like they always do, in literally the 11th hour. But I mean, there's a 4.5 game gap right now, and there's still a lot of games to be played between the Padres, the Diamondbacks, and the Dodgers.
Yeah, well, is it 5 for the Diamondbacks, 4.5 for the Padres?
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, this is the first time in years that you really feel like, okay, the NL West could be in play here for multiple teams, and at least that makes it more interesting going into August, right? I love fighting for a wild card spot. I won't sneeze at that. I mean, look at what happened last year with this team.
Well, the last 2 World Series, participants from the National League are the Phillies and the Diamondbacks, and they both were the final wild card spot. So, like, it feels a little irrelevant, and it almost feels like if you do get one of those top spots, that there's a chance where you might actually have an issue due to the layoff. Right?
Yeah,
but
I don't like the layoff, right? But whatever. I just like the fact that this isn't the Dodgers running away with the division. It's you know, it's the Diamondbacks who built the right way. It's the Padres who are figuring out their stuff finally, and the Dodgers who aren't superheroes.
The Padres have completely depleted their farm system now. So it's like the one thing that you can say about the upgrades the Diamondbacks made during the trade deadline was it didn't cost them a ton.
No.
And they addressed their needs. Like the Diamondbacks didn't have a lot of weaknesses. As you saw yesterday in person, the biggest weakness there is the bullpen and their ability to count on guys, especially late. I think they have a lot of options. I think AJ Puck is a name that a lot of guys want to see, a lot of fans want to see there late in the game, but it'll be interesting to see what Torrey pivots to. You're right, though. There's not a lot of room for, error here. And I mean, at this point, I know Torrey, to a fault, believes in his guys and shows them that belief by allowing them to stay out there and to continue even when they're struggling. It just seems like we're past that point now that you can no longer really do that and sacrifice wins in order to try to even bring someone like Paul Sewald back.
It's tough because we saw it work last year, right? I mean, they had one of the worst stretches in baseball.
They really did.
Their last summer, but he believed in his guys and it paid off in the end. But I think, you gotta figure out something with that pen. Do you think Puck is the guy to turn to? The chat seems to like that idea. But
I think the only problem with that is if Puck's your guy, then you can't bring him in other high leverage situations where you're matching him up and using the fact he's a left-hander, right? I do like the fact that, like, for the most part, from a bullpen standpoint, you're going to deal with righties leading up to that ninth inning. So I like the change of arm, of the hand and of the arm slot and things like that versus the previous guy you saw, especially going from like a Ryan Thompson who has such a funky, delivery to Puck who's, the opposite hand. But I don't know. I mean, I think at this point it's crazy, but like it almost feels like Torrey might go back to the closer by committee thing, which was kind of a huge disaster for this team last year. They just have different weapons this year. It's a different bullpen right now. And there are several guys that you feel like you can still count on late in games.
I mean, that would give you an opportunity, though, if you wanted to give Sewald a chance as part of closer by committee and see if you can get him
still throw him out there
back from time to time. I don't think you have a lot of time to mess with it, though. Maybe you go closer by committee for a week or two and see how it works, and then try to, dub somebody the permanent closer. Because I don't think that's what you want to go into the playoffs with. Is going, as a closer by committee. I don't like that prospect in the postseason. So hopefully he can land on a guy. I don't know. I'd much rather have my left-handed guy in Puck actually situational,
just available. Exactly.
Not slotted in.
Well, and I mean, they do have Joe Mantiply still, but again, the Puck is brought in there for those big high leverage situations late and for those matchups, right?
It's honestly just a shame that like J Mart just has struggled in those high leverage spots because it feels like he slots in so perfectly.
It's what everybody wants
and keeps everybody else in their perfect roles for them.
Well, I know all sports are mental, but like, you understand, like baseball is just weird when it comes to how your mentality can change that. I mean, we saw J Mart, like perform at a different level when his parents were in attendance watching him play for the first time. And I feel like that's a pretty high leverage situation for you personally, emotionally, your parents seeing you for the first time. And he was incredible in that. So like his ability to lock it in and be that guy we think he can be late is there. It's just, he's kind of, it's been a fast development for him to get to where he's at. He went from being a guy that you felt like was never going to really find command to being this guy that's literally dotting the corners and throwing his stuff at different speeds and just looking incredible, but again, you just have that late inning thing where unfortunately sometimes that spotlight is too bright,
Well, in baseball, in most sports, one tiny mistake, you have a lot of opportunity to make up for that, right?
Yeah.
But especially in a closer position, one small mistake can cost everything, right? And if you're not focused, like focus to me is such a big part of baseball, where in other sports you can kind of drift from time to time. There's baseball, if you're not locked in mentally, especially as a pitcher, it's a game of literally
inches
in less than that,
fractions of an inch
in most cases. So that's what amazes me about it, and how quick guys can either fall out of that headspace or find their way into it and emerge. But it feels like the Diamondbacks have perpetually gone through this.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't remember a time where you had a closer that was multiple years. Like when was the last time
dominant?
we saw that?
You know, Fernando Rodney. There was times where Archie Bradley was pretty good, but not just great. You know, like
Papa Grande back in the day.
Yeah,
JJ Putz,
BK Kim.
Matt Manti.
I think JJ Putz is the last guy.
JJ Putz was really good.
Was like shut down.
Yeah. I mean,
he had like an ERA under 2 1 year, 5 saves ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there were a couple of guys out there, but this still feels like the best bullpen the Diamondbacks have ever put together, and it got better with the additions they made
top to bottom for
the trade deadline, right? And of course, they have options. That's the thing is this bullpen at one time, like Torrey at times has had to do what he can with what he has.
Yeah.
Now it feels like there's depth on the starting lineup, there's depth in the bullpen, and he has to make the right decisions. And guys like Jake McCarthy make it hard because as much as Torrey doesn't want to play him regularly, Jake has proven that he deserves to play regularly. He had 3 hits in yesterday's game again. This guy just continues to be incredible for this team, but he just isn't given enough playing time. Torrey had him hitting in the 2-hole yesterday, and it seems to work well, and hopefully that's something that we'll continue to see. But again, let's put that power ranking back up because I did want to talk about this Diamondbacks team. 58-51, 7-3 in their last 10. They have a better record than a lot of teams in baseball. And what's wild about that is they have the same amount of wins now as the Atlanta Braves. They have, they're pretty close to some of these, especially these teams on this list, and kind of deserve to be in the conversation. The Diamondbacks were, in fact, the best team in Major League Baseball in the month of July. They had a record of 17-8, and they did not lose a single series. So this team is incredible. I want to get to the super chat from our guy Piece of Yoshi because he's absolutely right. Pavin Smith did save the baseball game yesterday. Pavin Smith, world-class defender. What? Who knew?
Made a Seawalk play.
Made a Seawalk play. And of course, the thing about it there is that Pavin Smith has been a guy that's honestly been playing very good baseball for a stretch now, whether it's in the minor leagues, whether it's when he's been called up. And he's kind of been asked to do what the team asks him to do. But I felt like yesterday he was playing harder because the Diamondbacks went out and acquired a backup first baseman. And that should be Pavin's role to a degree. But you can tell, rightfully so, that Torrey still doesn't trust him 100% to be that. Now, Josh Bell isn't a much better defender, so I don't know. But Pavin felt like he was playing a bit out of his mind yesterday.
I think there was another reason, though. His fan club was out in the pool.
Oh,
I've never heard louder Pavin chants than that ever.
Mark was losing his mind. It was the best day for Don's Bread ever. What else we got for Piece of Yoshi? He said Clayton Kershaw was just so sad about his father, Christian Walker, being injured that he forgot how to pitch. Yes, that was also a great sight to see. Thank you, Piece of Yoshi, so much for your super chat. You're wonderful. But you know who else is wonderful? The Arizona Diamondbacks. Well, no, you're not. You're dead to me with the comments you made about me earlier. But I was going to say Desert Financial Credit Union because Desert Financial for more than 84 years has been Arizona's largest, most trusted local credit union. They are dedicated to creating exceptional experiences by giving back to the community. And of course, they are dedicated to providing financial solutions that make your lives better. Of course, I got my home ownership journey started through Desert Financial, and I would have never been able to do it without them. So you can look to them for checking and savings accounts, mortgages, loans, credit cards, investment options, and so much more. And right now, when you open a free checking account online, you can get $200 in bonuses. Get started by visiting desertfinancial.com/200.
And if they'll loan Derek money, you got a pretty good shot at getting something too.
He's right. I have an 824 credit score. I will not put up with this slander.
What's the last 4 digits to CVV and your mother's maiden name?
No, I'm not telling you any of that information. But
I thought we were just sharing stuff.
Well, you know what? I will share some information with you about Indeed.com because if you're looking for a new director of content, head of content, maybe a new co-host, maybe even right now on the spot, you just need someone quickly. You need Indeed. Forget it. Maybe we need another producer. I'll get David over here to co-host. We'll hire a producer. But of course, if he's been coming for my mayorship for a long time, and we're going to produce some definite.
I think Espo's been the one that's been coming for your mayorship. No,
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's him, not you. You aided and abetted, but of course he's the real one.
I might be a double agent.
Might be. If you need to fire your entire staff and start over, you need Indeed. Indeed, of course, can help you hire faster. They can also help you hire quality candidates that fit your needs, of course, as an employer. Ditch the busy work and use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. And of course, that's the problem. Sometimes you get a whole lot of candidates, a bunch of jabronis like this guy over here, putting in applications for a job he has no business having, and then you have to.
got it too.
You have to figure it out later, what you're dealing with. Indeed does help you connect and hire faster, but hire quality candidates. 93% of employers agree Indeed delivers the highest quality matches compared to other job sites, according to a recent Indeed survey. So join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent. Listeners of the show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/AllCity. Just go to Indeed.com/AllCity right now and support this show by saying you heard about us on the PHNX Diamondbacks podcast. Indeed.com/AllCity. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire, you need Indeed.
You said 824. You can't add the last 2 months' scores together, right?
Oh no, that's okay. That's fair. He's right. No, he's right. That's probably how the math got there. But of course, we have the Pirates, or we're going to Pittsburgh, I should say. Good food. They put French fries on sandwiches out there, so
beautiful
I'm not against
ballpark.
that. What's that?
Beautiful
ballpark. One of the best in all of baseball. Let's take a look at the Pirates at a glance because we just took them on. Scheduling is weird this year. We get a lot of like this happens with the Cincinnati Reds where we played all the games against them over what seemed like a 1 to 2 week stretch. We get the Pirates this time, and we do not miss out on Paul Skenes, despite the fact the probables yesterday told us differently. We'll talk about that here in a moment. But the record here for the Pirates, 55-53. They have a -5 run differential. They are 5-5 in their last 10 with a 3.46 starting pitching ERA, 4.28 relief pitching ERA. The starting pitching ERA, very good. Third in Major League Baseball. Relief, not so much. 23rd, and we saw that when the Diamondbacks took on this rotation. At times, especially against Luis L. Ortiz, they kind of had to wait for him to leave the game before they did their scoring. But if you can get into this bullpen, you can do some damage. Outs above average, right there, middle of the pack. They have 1 for 15th. Diamondbacks definitely lost some of their outs above average with the addition of Josh Bell to their roster. That was kind of funny to see his minus outs above average subtract from our team total. But I was talking about those probable pitchers. Let's take a look here at how things line up in this series. Brandon Pfaadt takes on Luis L. Ortiz. You got Jordan Montgomery there in game 2.
Damn, their
against
staff
Mitch
is
Killer.
good.
What's that?
I said, damn, their staff is good.
It's incredible how good their starting pitching is. And like I said, we almost missed Paul Skenes again a second time around because they had basically the same starting pitchers lined up as we did the last time they played. But they pulled, I believe it's Marco Gonzalez here, and then Paul Skenes. We will see Paul Skenes go up against Ryan Nelson. And I just have to reiterate that Ryan Nelson had an incredible July. 4 out of his 6 starts, he gave up 1 earned run or less. So despite his 4.53 ERA, he has been very good as of late. Meanwhile, Jordan Montgomery, no clue what you're going to get out of him, Espo. Jordan Montgomery might honestly, I mean, if he doesn't get back into being a consistent starter for this team, he might sincerely go down as one of the worst free agent acquisitions in Valley history.
On a 1-year deal? I mean, I guess it's two.
It's 2 because
it's
with
his
the way,
option.
Yeah, it's his option. And with the way he's performing, it's doubtful that he's going to not pick it up. Like, it would be such a stand-up thing, like if he had a bad year, to just choose not to pick up the option and go with whatever because he might feel like he doesn't deserve it. But that's not how money works. Yeah, or he wants to pitch somewhere else, right? But $25 million, I have a hard time imagining that with the way he's been pitching, he's going to get that or more or any kind of long-term deal.
I mean, it's no Sam Bradford $20 million for, like, I think he played 3 games and didn't do anything.
That's fair.
Like, and you hope that if you get into the playoffs, you get a different guy, somebody that locks in, performs a little bit better.
You only need 4 starting pitchers in the playoffs. Yeah. So really, when it comes down to it, if Eduardo Rodriguez is what he think he can be, we know what Merrill Kelly is. Brandon Pfaadt was huge in the playoffs for this team last year. So, I mean, Montgomery could be the odd man out there when they hit the playoffs, but they need to get there, first. And that's, part of it is that Jordan Montgomery really at this point, he's proven at times how good he can be. It's just a matter of him really lacking that consistency and just honestly having no idea what you're going to get out of him on any given night.
Well, yeah, you hope he locks in. I want to go back to the Pirates rotation, if you don't mind, though. I actually rather face Skenes because, look, the reality is this is what a starting rotation is going to look like when you get to the playoffs who you're facing, right?
You're right.
You're going to face the best of the best. So you might as well get locked in now and figure out ways to get wins against quality starting pitching, right?
Yes.
So why not take this as the kind of challenge that you understand we got to stack some wins here, because if we want to get to the playoffs, that's what we need to do. And if we want to win in the playoffs, we got to beat pitching like this. So I actually prefer going up against the best at this point, because you got 2 months until the playoffs. Just sharpen in on it.
Yeah, forged by fire, right? Yeah. And plus, we know how much Torey Lovullo loves Paul Skenes. Torey Lovullo's love
another
for Paul
opportunity
Skenes,
for them to kind of
the connect, hang out. Maybe Torey has him over to the house for dinner. Maybe that recruitment for 2031.
Yeah, I think so.
Is it 2031 still continues?
You think Torey's still going to be sitting here at 20? That's no shade on Torey. That's just a long time to be recruited.
No, you're right. You're right. But you got to lay the groundwork early, right? You got to put in those phone calls. You got to act like you care. Even when that person has another person, right? You just got to put in the groundwork.
You got to tell them shave that mustache. It's doing you no favors.
Look, I questioned people at the All-Star game, which I'm wearing my shirt right now, and they were 9 out of 10 were in favor of the mustache.
When did the mustache come back? When did the mustache become cool again?
I don't know. It started with hipsters. It started
with Top Gun.
Did it really?
I think so.
I think that's a good call.
That's a great call.
I think
Top Gun Maverick.
I think once Maverick came out,
that's a good call.
Was like,
you hit the nail on the head with that one. Yeah, they were hot.
That's a good call. Yeah. All
right. But acne still out, right? Still not good. Photoshopping acne out.
Acne, backney, none of it's good when it comes to baseball.
I want to defend this because as much as I didn't think highly of the situation, Damon made a good point. Is that Paul Skenes' girlfriend Livy Dunn apparently photoshopped out some acne that he was experiencing. And he said, he's like, it probably was just something like touching up photos is something that someone who posts a lot on Instagram probably
has a team that does it.
Yeah, you're right. It's probably not even her personally, right? She's like, hey, put this through the thing that makes gets rid of those.
Why is that? Why is that actually a big deal to people right now?
I don't know.
It is.
Why?
People are freaking out about it.
Why? You know what? If I could have my face touched up every day on one of these shows, I would do it in a second. You want to take 40 pounds off me with the camera and its filters? Sure. Let's do it.
If there were two guys that wished we could be touched up by Photoshop while doing this show, it's these two fellas right here, right?
I
want to look my best.
Yeah, especially, let's be honest, if he's got to be in a photo with her, he needs some help to look better, right?
Like Damon shut off that video before you had a chance to see what my hair looked like coming out of the water, right? I mean, sometimes we just don't want that. We just don't want that information out there.
So earlier you were mad at me because I missed the mayor chance, but now you're happy with me because I was looking out for you.
Well, I wanted you to strategically edit the video. It's what you fucking do, right? Like you're good at that.
He wanted you to add in those cheers that didn't happen, Damon.
Yeah. Well, I wanted you
to proof, by the way.
I needed you to bump up the audio on them a little bit. You know what I mean? Make those cheers sound louder. Maybe grab the audio, double them up. Layer them, put two on top. We'll talk about it later.
That's what they do at Anfield at Liverpool for any soccer fans that are watching.
Yeah, because we're a Wrexham podcast. Don't ever forget that. Paul Mullins all day. Well, that's all we got. That's all you got, right? You got anything else?
I got another hour I got to do in about an hour. I don't think I got anything left.
We're just going to push him over a little bit and add another chair over
sit here. They're going to turn off the lights. Well, I'll be back at 3.
Yeah, well, that's what you got from him. Make sure to hit that like button before you get out of here because we do not want you leaving before you do that. We will be back, of course, tomorrow night with a post-game show. Sorry to disappoint you. No Jesse on that one. I think it's going to be me and Faj following up here on this series with the Pirates. But, of course, we will be back on Monday with another Mailbag Monday episode. So, of course, until then, keep it locked right here to PHNX for the Sun Show and all the wonderful stuff we do around here. We appreciate you guys so much for stopping by. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter. I am at cap_caveman with a K. This man next to me is simply at Espo, which still don't understand how you got that.
Sources are not going to be shared. By the way, nobody approved Jesse's time off, so just so you're aware.
Well, I guess we are going to need Indeed.com is what it sounds like to me. Sorry, Jesse. You can stay in the chat. Of course, got our people's producer here that everyone should follow. It's Damon Dog. It's DAWG there at the end. And we are Damon's dogs. Bark, bark. We do a bark, bark thing. That's a little too aggressive.
No. I gotta be more aggressive for it.
Yeah.
I'd be more aggressive for it. I appreciate the hard work that Damon puts in working with you.
Yeah, I get it. No, I mean, that is a tall task.
Max do it.
Yeah.
That's the worst one.
Bark, bark. Yeah.
No, Max goes insane.
I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want Max's energy on this show right now. It's too much. But of course, you can follow our show at PHNX_D-backs, but all roads do lead to at PHNX_sports. Keep it locked right here. Like I said, again, we appreciate you guys so much for your time. We will see you tomorrow night. In the meantime, have a wonderful evening. No baseball tonight. Enjoy your families. Maybe go watch Deadpool and Wolverine. I can't recommend that enough. Until tomorrow, we hope you have a wonderful night. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when you have a lifeguard on duty at the pool.
We all silly like the mayor.